Hello everybody, happy to be here. It's been a while. I enjoyed my summer, I guess a little too much. And today is a very special life for me because I'm not alone. And I love a good dialogue. I love to talk myself, but when you have somebody to talk to and with, it's just the most amazing and incredible experience. So I'm happy to introduce to you my very good friend, my partner, and my son Andre. Hello. So today is kind of an experimental live, one that we've thought of for the last few weeks and decided just to go forward and see what happens. And I'll tell you where the inspiration came from. Andre loves to read books. I love to read books, and so he got this really amazing book that is, here it is. Do you want to tell the name? What's the name?
It's called Letters to a Young Athlete, which is written by Chris Bosh, who is a 2-time NBA champion and 11-time All-Star who played for the Miami Heat, whose career was ended short because of blood clotting, and now makes music.
There you go. So this is a quick introduction, and besides the fact that the book is written by athlete and I think is really inspirational and great for younger audience and reader, I found is actually quite inspirational for myself to read it. So that's where the idea came from. Andre started to read, shared it with me, I read it, and then we figured out, well, hey, why wouldn't we just share with you guys some exciting quotes and ideas and thoughts that maybe came across our minds while we were reading. And hopefully this will be inspirational for you, and maybe you'll pick up this book or maybe you'll pick up another book, but we'll share it with us as well. So the first thing that kind of really caught my attention was this talk that he wrote here about the general noise. And by general noise, he was talking about that now for the younger generation, and again for adults as well, we have all the noise around, right? We have the social media, we have the written press, we have advice from our friends, from our parents, from our colleagues, from our you name it. Everyone around is ready to share something. And we're hearing all the sounds, we're hearing all the talks, all the information, and eventually it turns into noise. So that was a very interesting way of somewhat summarizing, right, all the bombarding sounds that we are surrounded by. And then Andre added to that his thought on it.
My thought was that Chris Bosh mentioned that the one thing that can completely tear down your idea is not outside opinions. It's the voice inside your own head.
So, interesting enough, right? We hear all the noise, but then eventually what tears us apart, or the one part that we're really trying to fight with, all fighting with, is our inside voice. And funny enough, again, we hear not the supporting voice, not the friendly voice, not the applauding, you did it and that was great voice. We hear the critical voice, we hear the negative voice. So as soon as we thought that we've done with the outside noise, then the inside noise comes in. That is unfortunately not helping much either. So the lesson learned here is not only protect ourselves from the outside noise, but also be very much aware of the internal voice, right? And I don't remember, does he talk about how he dealt with that voice?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? So I don't know, and I quite frankly don't remember myself. But I just always want to remind you guys that you have a choice of the voices that you are hearing. And yes, even though usually the one that makes it to the finishing line and to the loud part in our head is the critical voice, remember there are always other voices as well. So maybe sometime you just want to kind of calm down your critical voice and see what other voices will come in. And I'm sure there will be your inner supportive, inner friendly, inner you can do it voice as well. So that the first part, the noise around, the
one.
critical, and the one. Yes.
And also with noise, make sure to block out negative noise, but don't forget to get the positive noise.
Oh, that's a good one, right. Right, so yeah, be selective. Just like, I always like to compare this to food. When we go to supermarket, there are certain things we buy and certain things we don't buy. The same thing with the noise around and with the advice around and with the information that surrounds us. Listen, pay attention and be selective. Things that you like and things that you find really helpful and supportive, take it in, make it yours. And the ones that you understand from the beginning is not really the one that will be helping you, then, let it go. Think and then continue on. So that's the first part. And then we have a favorite quote of our introduction unit here, right? So I'll let Andrei read it because my Ukrainian accent is still, pretty strong. I'm loving it, but I think the best way for you guys to hear the code is actually being read by somebody who doesn't have this unique part.
This quote is by the poet Rilke, and the quote is, "Don't search for answers which could not be given to you now, because you will not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now, perhaps then, someday, in the future, you will gradually, without even noticing it, live your way into the answer."
Thank you. So, questions and answers. And as a life coach, we use questions all the time. And I know there are so many questions out there that we're all trying to answer. Young readers, older readers, anyone in the world. And I love this quote because even though we want to get the answers as soon as we can, and we search for answers urgently and in the fastest speed we can, maybe there are certain questions that are there for us to live through, and by living through, discover the answers. There are certain answers that we can't just produce right away as soon as we hear the answers. As soon as we hear the question. There are certain answers that we absolutely have to leave. We have to take our time. We have to enjoy living with the question. We have to enjoy the journey of searching for the answer. And then eventually when we get the answer, we might realize it or we might not even realize it. How often it happens to us when we succeed and we don't even realize that we succeeded, because the question that we live through somewhat went in the back of our mind, and now we're living through the answer and we are succeeding with that answer.
Took the words right out of my mouth, except I would have said it much simpler.
All right, go ahead. I'm all for simplicity. Did I?
Still took the words out of my mouth.
Still did it?
Yes.
Okay, well, I often do add a lot more words than maybe somebody, would otherwise. So if you can say whatever I just said it in a lot shorter version, then for sure do it. It's always helpful and always useful. The shorter it is, the more likely you will actually remember and live by it. But for today, for the just introduction that we read in this book, like I said, that there are two things that really caught our attention and kind of caught our attention separately, and then we combine. First one was the outside noise and the importance of
the
way you said it. That was really good. I liked it when you said
choosing the positive noise and keeping that while discarding the negative noise.
Absolutely. Be selective with the noise from outside, with advice from outside, as well as be selective with what you're hearing from inside. Your own voice could be absolutely powerful and supportive, or your own voice could be quite harmful. And I like how you said it about your own voice. And I think that was the quote from the book. And then the second part that I absolutely loved are the questions and the answers. I think it's so important is to not rush through, is to not somewhat program ourselves that as soon as we get the question, we absolutely must get the answers. The life is so exciting and so interesting and changing so fast that maybe the question that we have in our head right now just simply doesn't have the answer yet. And it's for us to live it through, to create it, and then to enjoy the result. So that's our quick summary on the introduction. And then for tomorrow we have chapter 1, and we can do a quick preview of the title, and the title is
When You Ain't Nothing But Tired.
Okay, so thank you very much. I hope we inspired you guys to read some books and to get the important parts out of these books, and then use it and live it through it. And for now, we'll say goodbye. Thank you for being with us, and tomorrow we will be back with the first chapter of this book. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.